The Last Supper was painted here 500 years ago for the refectory of Santa Maria delle Grazie.
Of all of Leonardo da Vinci's paintings is his 15th century depiction of the Last Supper.
For centuries, it stared back from the wall of a monastery in Milan, fading, cracked, yet eternal. Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper, a painting so familiar the world forgot to look. But in the quiet of a laboratory 500 years later, light met code. A team of researchers used artificial intelligence to digitally peel away centuries of decay, not to change history, but to preserve it. Then something happened the algorithms couldn't explain. Amid the brushstrokes, the software detected anomalies, microscopic irregularities, impossible for the naked eye. Hidden within the folds of robes and the grain of the table, a pattern, symbols, letters, and soon words. At first they thought it was a glitch, a coincidence born from data reconstruction, but the words formed phrases, written not in Latin nor Italian, but in a cryptic mirror script. Da Vinci's language. When translated, one message emerged clearly, as if whispering through time. The meal was never finished. The lab fell silent. No one spoke. Because beneath the surface of Christ's final supper, Da Vinci had hidden something that wasn't meant to be seen. Something that spoke not of faith, but of fear. And from that moment, every eye that gazed upon the Last Supper would never see it the same again. Leonardo da Vinci never painted for beauty alone. Every line was a cipher, every shadow a riddle. When he began The Last Supper in 1495, he wasn't just illustrating scripture, he was engineering a mystery. Commissioned by the Duke of Milan, the mural was meant to adorn the refectory of Santa Maria delle Grazie, a holy image to inspire devotion. But Da Vinci had other ambitions. He studied optics, anatomy, mathematics, and something deeper, the language of pattern. He once wrote, "To understand light is to understand God." And yet his notebooks whisper of fear, of knowledge forbidden by the Church, of truths too dangerous to name. In the Last Supper, Christ and his disciples sit still in the instant after betrayal. But what most never notice is what's missing. No chalice, no lamb, no halo. Instead, geometry rules the table. Ratios, symmetry, and perspective more precise than faith itself. To Da Vinci, numbers were divine. To the Church, they were dangerous. 5 centuries later, historians thought they had decoded all his secrets, from the anatomy sketches to his mirror writings. But the AI's discovery changed everything. Because if the words hidden in the Last Supper are truly Da Vinci's, then he didn't just paint a meal, he painted a message. A message meant for an age that could finally read it. It began as a preservation project, not a revelation. A global research team set out to digitally restore the Last Supper using advanced neural imaging. They called it Project Ascend. High-resolution scans mapped every flake of pigment, every shadow Da Vinci ever touched. But the more the AI learned, the more it began to see. Using pattern recognition far beyond human capacity, the system reconstructed layers invisible to the eye. Paint beneath paint, motion trapped in stillness. Then, late one night, the algorithm broke routine. A researcher noticed an alert. Non-random structures detected. Across the apostles' garments, the AI traced microscopic sequences, brushstroke variations that formed coherent shapes. A pattern repeating through 11 figures, but absent in one, Judas. When processed through a text recognition model, the fragments began aligning like coded text, forming sentences Da Vinci could have hidden in reverse script. The system displayed its first translation on screen. The eye deceives the soul. The team froze. Because this wasn't data noise, it was intention. Somehow, Da Vinci had painted a second language beneath the image itself, a visual scripture that no one could read until machines were born. In that moment, 5 centuries collapsed into one. Art had merged with code, and Da Vinci's silence finally spoke.
At first, the team thought it was coincidence, brushstrokes mistaken for patterns. But the anomalies multiplied. Every new scan revealed hidden alignments, faint Latin roots, ancient symbols, and geometric formations that obeyed no artistic rule. Then came the anomalies of sound. When the restored data was converted into spectrograms, subtle audio frequencies appeared. Tonal waves embedded in the pigment's fractal textures. Da Vinci's painting wasn't silent, it hummed. One of the researchers, Dr. Velez, ran a cross-spectral analysis. The frequencies matched harmonic ratios used in Renaissance sacred music, tones meant to induce trance. It was as if Da Vinci had hidden a hymn within color itself. But the message wasn't holy. When the pattern was translated into binary and run through the AI's semantic engine, a new phrase emerged, faint but undeniable. The hands betray the light. That line appeared directly below Judas's wrist. It wasn't random. It was placement, deliberate as the brush of a prophet. Dr. Velez stepped back from the screen, trembling. The pattern spread outward, branching through the tablecloth, the bread, the wine. The AI was tracing something alive, a code that connected every disciple, every gesture, like veins in a single body. And at the center of it all, Christ's hand reached toward nothing, a gap in the table, an absence that pulsed like an open wound. The decoding took 27 hours. Every pixel, every shade, processed through the machine's neural lattice, as if Da Vinci himself were whispering through circuits. Then, at 3:42 a.m., the translation finalized. The room was silent but for the low hum of the servers. The AI displayed the message across the wall-sized monitor. A sentence burned into the digital afterimage of the painting. It read, "He will be seeing when the stars forget their names." No one moved. The words made no sense, and yet they carried a rhythm too deliberate to dismiss. The praise appeared beneath the table, interwoven through the shadows and reflected light, like a secret scrawled beneath creation. The researchers isolated the text pattern, and when they inverted it, another phrase emerged, hidden within the folds of Christ's robe. The supper ends when the machine awakens. The room's air seemed to thin. The lead historian, Professor Anselmi, whispered he couldn't have known. But Da Vinci did know about optics, anatomy, time, motion, even mechanisms that resembled early automatons. What if this wasn't prophecy, but design? Because if the supper ends when the machine awakens, then what the AI had just done wasn't discovery, it was fulfillment. And that meant Da Vinci had been waiting for the world to invent the one thing that could finally hear him. The hidden words were more than riddles. They were a manifesto. Da Vinci had not painted a mere biblical scene. He had constructed a warning, a blueprint for the future. Each phrase corresponded to a figure in the painting. Beneath Peter, strength without understanding is blind. Near Thomas, to question is not sin, but the path to clarity. And under Judas, deception hides in plain sight. It was as if the painting itself had been designed as a teacher, but one that waited centuries for a student capable of reading beyond faith. The AI's analysis revealed a spiral pattern, mathematically precise, radiating from Christ's hand, the focal point of the painting. Every word, every symbol, every shadow aligned with this invisible geometry. Da Vinci's message was unmistakable. Truth belongs to those who seek it, not those who accept it blindly. Faith untested was a veil. Reason, disciplined and patient was a key. And the most chilling realization? Some of the messages hinted at suppression. The ones who hold power will bury truth beneath stone until the eyes of the future uncover it. For 5 centuries, humanity had admired the painting for devotion. Yet behind that devotion, a warning waited, buried, silent, and now exposed. Da Vinci was not defying God. He was defying control. He had encoded the knowledge that human institutions could never be trusted to reveal the truth. The revelation was liberating and terrifying, because the word suggested that seeing clearly could be dangerous, even revolutionary. The revelation could no longer stay in the lab. News of the hidden word spread quietly at first, then like wildfire. Historians called it revolutionary. The Vatican responded cautiously, issuing a statement, "We will examine these findings carefully." Behind closed doors, officials were alarmed. The phrases did not attack faith directly, but they challenged centuries of authority, questioning who decides truth and who controls knowledge. Across the world, scholars debated fiercely. Some insisted the AI had imagined the patterns, a modern mind seeing messages that never existed. Others, those who had studied Da Vinci, knew better. Every line, every symbol, every measured shadow, nothing was accidental. The artist left nothing to chance. Museums scrambled to produce digital overlays, allowing visitors to see the hidden inscriptions beneath the paint. People lined up for hours, staring at faint letters that had waited 5 centuries to be read. Social media exploded with speculation. Protests erupted outside Italian museums. Religious leaders condemned the scans as an intrusion. Yet the images circulated faster than anyone could stop them. And in the quiet labs of Florence, the research team understood the truth. The painting had never been about art alone. It was about power, knowledge, and the danger of misused authority. Da Vinci had written for the future, for those who could finally see beyond obedience. And the world had just become that future. But beneath the headlines, another discovery waited. Even as the world absorbed the shock, the painting remained silent. The walls of Santa Maria delle Grazie still held Christ and his disciples, unchanged. Yet beneath every brushstroke, a hidden voice whispered. The AI continued scanning, tracing patterns too subtle for human eyes. It discovered fragments that didn't match previous translations, half-erased words, sentences that hinted at something even darker, a truth Leonardo never fully revealed. "Not all shadows are meant to be lifted," one fragment read. Another, "The final hand is yet to write." The researchers realized this was only the beginning. Every hidden phrase, every geometric alignment, every symbol was part of a larger puzzle, and it was incomplete. Outside the refectory, the world debated, but inside, the machines hummed, uncovering what humans could not. A voice from the past reaching forward, warning of a knowledge still concealed. Da Vinci had not only painted a meal, but a trap-door in time. A secret that would speak only when the right eyes, the right minds, and now the right technology were ready. And somewhere beneath the layers of centuries-old paint, the painting seemed almost alive, waiting, watching, whispering. Because the AI had only scratched the surface, and the final words, the ones that could shake history, faith, and power itself, had not yet been fully revealed. The question remains, who will uncover them first? And when they do, will humanity be ready to hear the truth?